Midland, Texas. It's April 27, 2017, around 12:41. I just listening to the police scanner, and I overheard a woman who I believe to be Officer April Chandler with the Midland Police Department, and but me recognizing the voice doesn't mean anything. And then a few minutes later, I hear somebody actually mention April's name or call out April as a name. So maybe it's April Chandler, which I believe it is, or maybe not. But I'll let you listen to that. I want to go over some evidence. Okay, what I call irrefutable, undeniable evidence that I believe will clear my name, and once this case is over, it'll make Midland safer and safer for all the citizens of Midland. I moved here in 2008. I transferred with DCP Midstream. I was a 25-year employee. I bought a home here behind Home Depot, and the previous homeowner, a young guy, 27, he dies a couple weeks before I close on the home. I now believe he was murdered. His death certificate says he died in Fort Worth, but my neighbor that lived directly across the street, Marilyn DeLuigi, she's told me 2 times that he died in this house, and one time she said, "I should know, right?" Yeah, you should know, Another guy recently, Aaron Packelhofer, or whatever his name is, something like that. He was a friend of a friend on Facebook, and he asked me, or he makes a statement. He says, 4 people were murdered, died in your house. Do you know their names? Well, I didn't even know 4 people had been murdered, died in my house. I've got a feeling that Mike Lawhon, the previous homeowner, was one of them 4. Marilyn had also said somebody else had died before him here, and so I don't know who that is. I'm guessing maybe Rini Escobar Sanchez that's still missing. He went missing in Odessa about 3 months before I bought this home, and that's another story with the death smell on this side of the house, cut up clothes and all that. You can find that on my YouTube channel. Anyway, back to the story. My first call for a burglary was November 2010. And then my first call for somebody getting into my attic was January 2011. I'm very serious about that. It's proven beyond any shadow of a doubt now, and it's happened many times. This home was rigged with hidden access where somebody can come underground, come up into this attic, and the why part. We got some ideas, but we don't really know yet because nobody's been arrested, and I'm not even sure a legitimate investigation's being done here, which needs to be because I was shot inside my home. And basically what happened that next year, January 2011, I changed all the locks out in my house. I screwed windows together. I cut trees back. I installed some security lights. I kept setting traps, like put a little rock on the doorknob before I'd go to work, and then I come home, the rock's laying on the floor. I knew somebody had been in my house, and these people, I couldn't lock them out. They kept breaking in my house. And then that year, I got married to this woman for a short amount of time. She's the first person that said, "You think they're coming from the ground?" Well, I never even considered that possibility. It never even entered my mind. And all these felony burglaries and the theft of services is going on that goes with that. I thought they're coming in some other way, trap door, whatever, And I had been told there was an underground trap door. Anyways, I separated in December 2011, and in January 2012, I called the El Paso DEA, and I told them everything's going on. I told them I'd called the police, I'd called the Texas Rangers, I'd called the FBI. And here I've been collecting this evidence. They keep breaking in my home. They're not taking anything obvious, but they're stealing services from me, like electricity and heating, cooling, shelter, etc. And of course they're a threat to my life. And so after I get through talking to them, they tell me it's a Midland DEA and give me the number. So I called them from my company cell phone, and I called the Midland DEA, and I told them the whole thing once again. I went over. So I called the DEA twice, and the DEA didn't look. And then 2 weeks later, on January 28, 2012, my phone lines were cut, and I was shot by surprise from a person under my house. Okay, now that's a lot longer story than that, and I've got that on my videos, but that's a fact. We know that the evidence is clear. I wasn't shot with my own gun. We know I shot from the ground. These are irrefutable, undeniable evidence that's backing up all this. But even more than that, I crawled out of my house, and it's caught on video. This is on my YouTube channel. Several videos, ambushed in my home. Email the Texas Rangers. Go look them videos up. You'll see me crawling out of my house. As I'm crawling, I scream help, okay? And the reason I was crawling because my phone line's cut. I scream help, and you see the lights being turned off on my company car sitting in my driveway. Okay, it wasn't my key fob that did it because that flashes the lights. There was somebody sitting in there. They're waiting for me to die. I'd just been shot. Just survived a murder attempt. Okay, and this is supposed to look like an accident, etc. And so anyway, I pull myself into the truck and I drive to 7-Eleven. Then a detective shows up, Rosie Rodriguez, and I'm telling her all what happened. I had no idea at that time she was childhood friends with the person I filed divorce on 5 days before. Okay, and she now says she wasn't even there, and she lied on the police report. And then her friend April Chandler, that's what we're talking about, also lied on the police report and said she climbed into my front seat of my truck up there. One's a blonde and one is a Hispanic brunette. I know the difference, and I know for a fact Rosie met me at the 7-Eleven, not April. They both lied. Okay, both of them, and we'll see that in the evidence here in a minute. And so I'm in the hospital like 10 days, whatever, and I get out of the hospital, and I'm thinking, thank God, finally the police is going to do something about all these crimes, okay, that non-stop crimes for 14 months, and with no idea that I was dealing with some corrupt police. And I'm not against police, I'm against corrupt police. We all need to be. The good police officers need us to stand up against the corrupt police officers, and you're going to see these are the corrupt. They're the worst of the bunch in the nation. You know, they're embarrassing Texas, they're embarrassing the United States, they're embarrassing Midland, they're embarrassing all law enforcement. These are the dirty, dirty ones, okay? And you're going to see pictures of them. And so anyways, what I found out on my cameras is minutes after I crawled out, the first 2 secret police showed up in my house. You can see them on video. You know they're police. Nobody can tell me who they are. 5 years later, I have a $2,000 award to identify police never heard of before. That's never happened in the history of America. This goes into the textbooks that the children study in school about massive police corruption, Midland, Texas, Buddy Webb, secret police. Okay, never happened before. Crime victim offering $2,000 award with pictures to identify police that were involved in his murder attempt. Okay, and then a few hours later, a larger group is caught inside my home on camera, searching drawers, stealing evidence, and staging the crime scene of a capital murder attempt. Remember, I'm home minding my own business. They loaded their guns, drove to my home, pointed it at me, and pulled the trigger. Right? That is cold-blooded killers, is what that is. And these dirty cops are helping them. Okay, and that's the bottom line. Okay, and one of them looks like April Chandler, and I just heard her on the radio scanner, and that's why I'm making this video right now. So I'm going to show you here. Secret police identified. I'm going to swip this around so you can go to my Facebook. It's buddy.web.353. And I don't want to retell the story that I'm told here. I just show you the pictures, but I just did this on April 23rd. And there was a newspaper article here where April Chandler was getting pins a badge on his wife. It's Michael Chandler pins a badge on his wife, April Chandler. So this is a police officer named April Chandler, okay? This is a secret police because we don't have any report whatsoever who this person is, okay? Or who this person that's got their hand in the booty bag stealing evidence, okay? We don't know who these 2 are, but I say these 2 look just like her. I say this thief right here looks like this person right here. What do y'all think? Okay, that's what I say. Okay, secret police, thief, lying on police report. No police report says they're even in the house. The only reason we know they was there is because they got caught. They tried to disable the security camera and started it. Okay, I mean that's just the bottom line of what happened. All right, one of the first 2 that showed up was wearing tan uniforms. Okay, no. I'm getting ahead of myself. Basically, one of the ones in my house was wearing a Midland Canine Police jacket. This was a Midland Canine Police officer. He murdered her, his wife, in 2014. Then he killed himself. Okay, so this guy's a murderer, and he's a Midland Canine Police officer. And one of the secret police was wearing a Midland Canine Police jacket. So I'm believing that it might be this guy. Plus, they're both from my hometown of Hobbs, New Mexico, and there seems to be a big link. And this guy here, Sergeant Mike Naylor with the Sheriff's Department, okay, he was killed about 3 months away from when these two died. And he wears this tan jacket like one of them first two that showed up at my house with the Secret Police. He's also from Hobbs, New Mexico. So I wonder, and I don't know this, I'm just asking the question, was Mike Naylor one of the Secret Police that showed up to cover up the murder attempt on my life? And now do we have 2 law enforcement officers and a policeman's wife dead that were connected in the capital murder attempt on my life, where a group of police officers were caught on camera and one of them looks like April Chandler, okay? Into the records. This is the proof, okay? Here we go. April Chandler stated in her narrative, I said this, Buddy began to explain how he's locking up his house for the night and his 12-gauge shotgun that he had leaned against the wall. When it fell, he said it went off, causing him to be shot in the right ankle. I did not say that, and I sure did not say that to April Chandler, okay? But she didn't realize the emergency room nurse, Kiara Cresswell, was documenting what I was saying, okay? Because what I was saying, and this is time-stamped at 11:27, I crawled out of my house at 10:42. Patient stated, my neighbors are breaking into my house. There are sirens going off. Sirens, folks, burglar alarms. There's a home invasion happening. I was shot during a home invasion. I have tie wire around my cabinets and closet. There's a voice recorder recording what was happening. I have cameras. My neighbors have built a tunnel from their house to mine. They are stealing my stuff. The alarms kept going off. I was tiring on the doors. That's a much different story than I was locking up for the night and accidentally knocked over my gun. Because that's what April tried to make it sound like. And I'm sitting here, no, burglar alarm's going off, you know. And so, and then a day and a half later, she comes and puts this paranoid, schizophrenic Buddy Webb as tear gas. Officer April Chandler right here. This is permanently attached, okay? And while I'm in the hospital, they tried to have me committed. Rosie Rodriguez tried to have me committed. And they called in the mental health, and I was cleared by mental health. But this lie by April Chandler is still on my police report. And I believe it was a lie to cover up that she sneaked into my house and stole evidence to cover up this capital murder attempt, okay? And so, another interesting thing here, okay? Here's a guy, Arthur Welch. He comes in, he writes me on Facebook about 8 months later, says, do you think so-and-so had anything to do with shooting? That was the ex that I'd separated from. I don't mention her name. I dated her for a short time in Lubbock, and she threatened to have me killed. This was on October 5th, 2012. And I said, I don't think she was in town, and you know, I think she knows who did it, and I don't wish her any bad, you know, God's her answer. He says, well, I think she had a lot to do with it from the things she said, and I will so never trust her. This was submitted in court in December 18, 2013. Detective Rosie Rodriguez and this ex, who that's when I found out that they were childhood friends, both testified against me and that I was delusional. And of course, it got left out of court that she snuck in my house and stole evidence and staged the crime scene, you know. And a lot of this wasn't found out until after the fact. Death threat. Guy named Lance Eggleston. He writes me on Facebook, and I don't know if he's a good guy or a bad guy. Actually, at the time, I didn't know what the deal was, but he was real clear. He says, remember, we know who you are. We know where you sleep. We have access to your residence all the time. No one will ever believe your story. We will come again. And I'm like, hey, I'm a 28-year company man here. You know, I volunteered to help United Way. I mean, I'm a good citizen giving back to my community. And, you know, are you going to help me? Are you a good guy or a bad guy? What do you want, Lance? You know, Lance Eggleston. And he writes back, you will be silenced, not if, but when. I said, when are you going to murder me, Lance? You know, we have access to your home at all times. That tells you there's underground access to this home. Okay. And so I'm going to skip that one. Okay. Interesting. My very first call for somebody in my attic was in January 8, 2011, over a year before my phone lines were cut and I was shot. And on that call was the husband of April Chandler, Michael Chandler, okay? And you'll see his name also Bradley Alexander. A. Corson looks like he was running the show. And Peter Dillinger and Joseph Moeller. They were all on this call on January 8, 2011. And then I remember it very well. That was what I call at the beginning. I was frightened. I was scared. You know, I really was. And I had people breaking my house and and I was scared. And then also I was expecting the police to help me with these criminals, right? Here's what's interesting about this call. One, I'm called 1096. So I'm already being called crazy. They already set me up to be murdered a year in advance, as far as I'm concerned. And because you remember what April did a year later? And here was a year. And so I can't be real crazy when you're sneaking in my house stealing evidence, right? There's a con job going on here. Anyways, right here, it's dated the night of the murder attempt, January 28, 2012, at 11:30. Some officer puts what's called an XREF. That's a cross-reference, and it puts it back to this incident number right here. And this is on my Facebook. I had been told on December 20th, 2011, that a document trail was being created on me right after the police had left my house. A document trail. I wonder if a document trail wasn't created on the last homeowner that lived here that's now dead. Okay, so I want to show you that and show you. Okay, this is the log file from my camera. Okay, it's dated January 29th, 2012. No police are listed as being, there is a police incident report for this day, but they're not listed as being inside my house, okay? But at 3:15 a.m., this computer has a user-initiated log off, okay? That wasn't a power failure, that wasn't a Windows update. Somebody running the mouse clicked on it and rebooted this computer, and obviously to shut down the camera that was attached to it. They tried to cover their tracks, just like a bank robber tries to cover up the cameras when they rob the bank. And these guys were covering up a capital attempted murder. Okay, here it is. Here is the police report. So nobody has any doubt. January 29th, 2012, the only entry is at 7 o'clock at night, which is the next day, okay, at 7, and it's a test only for PW. I really don't even know what that is, and my guess is they put some kind of communication tap on my phone because they want to monitor the crime victim so he don't bust them because they're helping murder people. That's my guess, okay? And then we're going to get into the nursing notes, okay? And after patient entered the room at 11:22, okay? Had just been shot. Sirens going off. There's a voice recorder recording what's happened. Alarm sounds going off. The nurse recorded this, okay? And this document, this hard evidence right here, okay? Nursing notes, 12:03. She's documenting what I'm saying. I was talking on a white voice recorder in case something happens to me and saying what they were doing in my house. I have proof. Just go look. There's proof, okay? And then she documents, this is at 12:03, and also at 12:03 she documents Detective Rodriguez has patient's necklace and stated she was going to give it to his brother, and here's her badge number, and Detective Rodriguez has my belongings. Remember, she's the one that met me at the 7-Eleven, says she's not there, the childhood friend of the ex that I'd married to for 3 months, filed divorce on 5 days before I shot, that was going to get this house and about $650,000 if I happen to die by accident. And Detective Rodriguez is calling this whole attempted murder an accident, okay? Officer Chandler, in her narrative, she writes, Buddy had a .22 rifle in the bedroom by the bed and was taken for safekeeping, logged in MPD as evidence, as well as a single-shot revolver and the voice recorder from the closet. Okay, it is not there. She lied, period. She's on the radio today, so somebody ought to ask her. Here's what's interesting. Matthew Davis. This guy happened to quit the police force after 12 years, the same month that I went to court and submitted that letter from Officer Welch, where he said he alleged the other person had a lot to do with the shooting. Okay, so it's time-stamped and everything. And you also see April Chandler entered by P250. That's April Chandler. Here's the rifle. Here's the pistol. Where's the voice recorder that I said proof is? The proof at my house. And so it seems clear to me that what happened is that I'm at the hospital saying proof is at my house, okay? And so they come up with a plan to sneak in my house and to steal the proof, which is the voice recorder, some shotgun shells, stage the crime scene, and then when they attempted to shut down the camera, they accidentally started it. It's pretty obvious that's what happened. Okay, this is the incident from December 20th, 2011. This is the night that I was told we're creating a document trail on you. You're going to find another XREF. I've asked the Texas Ranger assigned to my case find out who did that, because that person, I was told a document trail was being created on me 5 weeks before I was shot. The reason I didn't call the police when burglar alarms going off the night I shot, because I was threatened and by these police that showed up right here, Blake Bush and Trent Sellers, and I was told we better not be called over here again for this stuff. Okay, and this stuff was called to my house for repeated burglaries that I thought were connected with prostitution, i.e. human trafficking. Okay, once again, XREF, it's time stamped, and it goes back, and so I believe this was the document trail that they had pre-planned 5 weeks in advance to create so they could cover up my murder, make it an accident, and then there's going to be a lot of money that was going to be change hands if I died. Okay, so anyways, here, let me let you listen to this, and I don't know if this April Chandler, maybe, I mean, this has been on the internet for a long time, and it's hard to imagine that she's still allowed to sneak into homes and to lie on police reports and to steal evidence, and I just showed you the proof. That's what's going on. I mean, she's welcome to argue. I mean, where's the evidence? You said it was there, April. I mean, I want the proof of this murder attempt, and I want these crimes stopped against me, and I want them other police identified. We want to know, was that Mike Naylor that was here at my house? Was that murderer Chad Simpson here at my house? And who are them other secret police? Anyway, here's a call.
Description if possible. Ask again. Ask for more details. Yeah, April's going to call one of the witnesses. Stand by. Description if possible. Ask again. Ask for more details. Yeah, April's going to call one of the witnesses. Stand by.
You know, if you're a citizen, this is important to you. You know, I mean, all across the nation. You know, because these secret police gangs that we're seeing pictures of, and that can't be allowed. And you know, and when I'm telling you that this has never happened in the history of America, and I mean, that's as far as I know. Do anybody else know any example where it is? Let me show you the rest of the pictures. I show this all the time, anytime. $2,000, folks. $2,000 cash. That's good. That's disability money. That's coming from a crippled crime victim that was home, minded his own business, and moved down here with hope and excitement, and bought this home that was pre-rigged with underground access that they were doing racketeering out of. And here's the secret police, all of them right here. The first two, and here's these. And the only ones we know is that's Rosie Rodriguez and that's April Chandler. We're guessing this is Chad Simpson, the murderer, and then maybe this one right here is Mike Naylor. That's a yes or no question. And so these need to be answered. They've got to be stopped from sneaking in a home, stealing evidence, and lying on police report. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.